folding the proteins. What are the proteins and why do they have to fold for it to mitochondria to upgrade and DNA to repair for the oxidative stress?
So proteins, and this is just like the very basics of proteins, but we tend to think of protein we eat, and that's important because there's about half your amino acids you have to get from your food. But the proteins that you eat get shredded up into amino acids and used to create your body, all your tissue, your blood, as hemoglobin's a protein, insulin's a protein. Most of your hormones are proteins except for the sex hormone. The antibodies are proteins, and they make up everything. And the only way to do repair or regeneration in the body is with proteins. That they are what go in and fix the damage from oxidative stress. Proteins are so critical, and they're a chain of amino acids, but the very last thing before they can work is they have to fold into a complex three-dimensional shape. So they start out as a string, and they have to bond together in different places to create this shape. And that's called protein folding. And it's so important that the prediction of folded proteins won a Nobel Prize in 2024.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By who?
It's so important, and most medical science is based on trying to understand protein, the folded shape of proteins and how they can be manipulated. You hear about turning on receptors or inhibitors or all these different things are ways to interact with the protein to try to have a desired medical effect.
So once the proteins are all folded in a beautiful stack, what happens then?
Once it's folded, it can be really complex, and you can have sort of subcomponents that group together to make an even bigger, like hemoglobin's a big protein that's made up of 4 of these little clusters or little shapes. And so they arrange themselves according to what your body's instructions are. And so this is the epigenetic piece. But what's needed, a base protein might be tweaked in this direction or that direction depending on the immediate need of the body. Oh, we need an immune response over here. That's gonna create a different reaction.
Right. So and it helps the oxidative stress to repair and clean up itself.
So if there's a repair to be done, you have the acute inflammation that's going to go in and, protect it from pathogens and so on. And you get a bit of red and swelling, and that can be part of the healing process. And so your body's instructions, if there's a wound, there's going to be a high priority to take care of that.
Yeah. And if, let's say, our proteins are all scattered around, our DNA can be repaired, we get into inflammation. Right. That's where all the autoimmune disease starts and everything else, right? So how this particular device, I know you have to breathe this through this amazing cannula that you put in, and then put it around your nose. So you'll have sessions anywhere from half an hour that you suggest to whatever you want. I've heard even one of your podcasts was Dave Pascoe, who uses actually at night. He sleeps with it. What would be your recommendation in a daily use? How many, is it 30 minutes enough or like an hour?
It really depends on your condition and what you're doing. So if you're exerting yourself, and by that I mean physically or mentally, so if you're concentrating for 3 hours, that's like running a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a lot of oxidative damage, and there's a lot of repair to be done. It's burning a lot of oxygen. And so it really depends on the person and what they're doing, and their age and so on, their condition. I use it, and this is just sort of for myself, I put it beside my desk when I'm working, and I run it for an hour. And if I haven't gotten up and moved around when the thing turns off, that's what I do, is I move.
Okay, yeah.
And so it can be a movement timer. And then I might start it again and do another hour later in the day. Okay. But one thing I always do that I learned from Kayla Barnes, one of our customers, and she's a brain coach person, is to use it right before I go to sleep. And the 20 minutes before you go to sleep, I can notice that I get deeper sleep.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed too. All my modalities with your or other devices that I have, when I do them right before I go to sleep, I look at my Aura ring the next day, the best sleep I get. Like the best REM, the best deep, like quality sleep.
Yeah, and I was surprised because I already used it a lot, but it's just that what we've got is a study we haven't released yet, but it's finished, and it's highly significant improvement in the autonomic nervous system. And so if you drop a person out of stress mode and then you build their parasympathetic system, you're absolutely set up to go to have a good night's sleep. And that's why it doesn't matter if you used it during the day or not. That last little bit before sleep with resetting the autonomic nervous system is a really great idea.
So exactly what is it? Are we breathing some special oxygen? So this is how you do it? You just put it around your
you
ears
said the magic word. It's
that's
special, but it's not oxygen. It's just normal air,
Okay.
which is like 21% oxygen. But you utilize the oxygen better. So people often think of it as an oxygen device. And I mean, if you're using the oxygen better and you feel more energy and your mitochondria is doing better, it sort of acts like extra oxygen, but it's only because your cells are working better, which is wonderful. You just improve utilization, cellular function, and then you have that advantage. Natalia mentioned the colors, and they're decorative. That's not part of the operation of the device. So we're using the bubbling water to create humidity. And the humidity is pulled through the device. Oh, she's playing with the colors. She's bored and she's playing with colors now.
I just wanted to show.
She already knows this. The humidity is going through excitation units inside the device, and inside this it's packed full. And in there it's bombarded with specific wavelengths that can be absorbed by water. So if you think of all your other devices, they go through the water, like red light goes through and it hits the mitochondria or whatever in the cell. All of them go through the water, but we are using wavelengths that are absorbed by the water because we want to change the water droplets in the airstream so they have a different energy state, and that's what's delivered to the body. It hits the mucous membrane and that energy transfers throughout the water in the body.